Welcome to Intro to Pilates Reformer. So you have a reformer and you don't know what to do with it. This video series is going to teach you how to start using the Pilates Reformer in a way that builds your strength, your power, and also keeps you in a centered and balanced alignment. I'm going to really explain each starting position, explain the equipment setup, but you are also going to get a great workout. So please message me if you want to know anything else that I'm not covering, and let me know what you like in each video. I'll talk to you soon. Intro to Reformer. We'll start with footwork, 2 springs. So this is a light spring that we're using because this will be like our warm-up, but we're going to do the warm-up within the footwork choreography. Remember in your equipment setup for footwork video that you have to adjust your foot bar, the headrest if necessary, even having a rolled up towel or a sponge. Okay, so that's in your separate video in the series. And it is very important having the right equipment setting. So we're starting with footwork, and this will be our warm-up. Find placement for your legs, whatever width, whether together or apart, where your back feels free of strain and you feel like you can release your pelvis down into the mat. Don't worry if your back is down or there's a gap there. It really has to do with your body type and nothing to do with a correct or incorrect positioning. Flex your feet. Notice my 10 toes are straight up to the ceiling. Pull your abdominals in and hollow as you pull back. Stay there for a moment and give yourself just a minute to lengthen the front of your hips. Come in. Press back, hollowing your abdominals. And in. Everything is focused on abs pulling away from your t-shirt. 7 more, just breathe, focusing on your abdominals pulling in and up. Every time you press away, pull those abs in and up. Three more. 2 more. And 1. Transition to toes on the foot bar. Glide your feet down, the toes are on the foot bar. This position, the crease of the joint is right between the toes and the balls of the feet. So try lowering and lifting your feet a few times as though you're in a high heel. And find that crease right between the toes and the foot. Press into the crease, zip up through the arches. Take a moment and feel that nice extra length. And in. Pressing away, really strengthening your left and right toes, feet. Zipping everything up, pressing into all 10 toes equally. 6 more, focusing on toes and hollowing your abdominals. One more. Wrapping. Lift your feet up. Wrap your toes over the top. Notice my toes are curled so that the pads underneath my toes are pressing down into the foot bar. We're strengthening the muscles on the bottom of our toes. Press back and in, working the muscles that push the toes down. The stronger you push the toes, the more you'll feel this in your glutes and your hamstrings. So we're focusing on pushing those toes down as we also pull your abs in and up. Pushing your toes as hard as you can, left and right equally. One more. V feet, heels together, toes apart. Bring your knees together and apart. A common problem here is either having the knees too wide or too narrow, because either too wide or narrow for your hip socket will give you strain in the hip joint. So come into that range of motion, narrow and wide, and then find that sweet spot where the leg bones are sinking into the hips as though your leg bones are centered. Squeeze your heels to engage your external rotators. Press back and squeeze. Control in. Squeezing those heels together, left and right equally, every time you press back. We'll do 7 more, hollowing the abdominals as you press away. Squeezing the heels, hollowing your abdominals. 4 more. 3. 2 more. And 1. Wide second. We can do wide second on the toes, the arches, the heels. For today, we will do arches with this lighter 2-spring weight. Push your arches into the foot bar. Let's sway the knees side to side. And I want you to feel that balance between east to west, left to right. Keep that balance with both feet and legs working equally. Press away. Take a moment just to lengthen and make sure left and right are balanced. And then coming in, pressing away. So in this position, the wide second, we want to focus on left and right balanced, and of course, abs in and up, pulling those abs away from your t-shirt. Keep on breathing. 4 more. 3. 2 more. And 1. Running. Bring your toes together in the center. Lift your heels. Press back all the way. And then we'll do a calf and Achilles tendon stretch, reaching one foot away as you lift the other foot. And you may hear some cracking and crunching here. That's always a good thing for your ankles and your toes. Really work those feet. Focusing on the Achilles tendon and calf stretch, but always making sure your abs are in and up. So important to strengthen our feet and our toes. 2 more on each side. 1 more on each side. Lift both heels up, bend your knees, roll up. So we just did footwork with 2 springs, and that is a great light weight resistance to really focus on those key components of footwork, the abs, the foot and toe strength, and also just really scooping every time you press out and in. Also, the footwork can be used for a really wonderful strengthening exercise. So I recommend for strength and power 3 springs. They can be 3 greens, 3 reds. I'm going to, for the purposes of the video, when I say 1 spring, red or green. A green is equivalent to a red and a yellow, okay? So now I have 3 springs on, and notice how the intention, the theme of footwork is going to change just a little bit. So all I'm going to talk about is glute squeezing and abs really powering up. We'll do 10 repetitions of each of the same positions we did before. Flex feet, heels on the foot bar. Pressing back with the glutes and the abs. Change to the toes. Toes on the foot bar, heels lifted halfway. Wrapping, pressing the toe pads down. V feet. Wide second, arches parallel. Running. Lift both heels and come in. So you can feel how that's really a lot of work for your legs, your glutes, your abs. We're going to add bridging here. So for bridging, heels hip width apart or as wide as you need for your back and hip safety. We'll do bridging 3 different ways because I want us to wake up our back body after so much time lying down. We have 3 springs on. You can lighten it if you feel that your shoulders are shoving back into the shoulder rests. So if you do choose to lighten the springs, try 2.5 springs. Squeeze your glutes, roll up through your spine, and press up tall. This is going to stretch the front of your body and work the back body muscles. This is our high bridge. Squeeze back, feeling the hips open and the glutes engaging. Keep those glutes engaged to put the brakes on as you return, and then press away. The top of your shoulder blades is anchored into the mat, and your glutes and your abdominals are working overtime. We'll do 6 more. A lot of work for the glutes and the back body. Abs and glutes. 2 more. 1 more. And return. Lower for your middle bridge. So we're lowering to either the rib cage or right above the rib cage. Squeeze your glutes, press back, and you still want to feel a really nice opening here in the front hip and a lot of contraction in those glutes. 9 more, glutes and abs in this middle bridge position. Squeezing the glutes as you come back, using your abs and your glutes to put the brakes on every time you return. 5 more. One more. For low bridge, bring the shoulder blades down onto the mat. You can either round your pelvis and a little bit of a pelvic tuck, or you can keep it neutral. I want you to experiment and figure out what is best on your back and what works your abdominals and core the most. Press back, keeping around a prayer's hand position off the mat. So it's quite low. Sometimes people feel this positioning the most in their glutes. It's like you feel every single muscle fiber in your glutes working. Three more, squeezing from the top, middle, and bottom glutes every time you press away, using your abs and your glutes to put the brakes on as you return. We'll just do 2 more. And 1. And come down. Hands are on the shoulder rests. Bring your knees to the side for about 20 seconds, and I'm going to talk a little bit as we stretch on each side. So you want the resistance to be as much as you can handle so that you feel a little bit sweaty and a little bit strenuous throughout the 10 repetitions. If you're just starting, feel free to go light. Let's go to the other side. If you're someone who likes to go light, just so that you can use your mind-body connection and really figure out what you're doing without a strenuous workout, that's totally fine. The beauty of the Reformer is, depending on your weight resistance, your spring resistance, it changes the entire exercise. Let's roll up. So our next set, I call it the 100 series, where we're only going to use 2 springs in order to do hundreds, feet and straps, supine arms. All of this work in this part of the series can be on the same spring resistance. So we are going to Lie down, and we're going to do hundreds. If you have a neck issue, you want to do the hundreds with the breath, but also holding your hands behind your head. So if you have a neck issue, don't curl up your head and shoulders because it really could bother your neck. We're going to roll down, scoot to the bottom of our carriage, and grab your straps. It's always a good idea to look back and make sure the straps aren't tangled in any way. So my arms are in the straps, and notice there's not really resistance in my straps. So if I want there to be resistance, I've got to push a little bit. So I'm going to show you that again, and we're actually going to do that 10 times together because finding this starting position is really important, and I'll explain why as we do it. Bring your arms overhead, the carriage returns. Notice that you are not using your shoulder girdle muscles. Press into the straps. Feel how your shoulder girdle muscles are being used. Release the shoulder girdle. Press the shoulder girdle. Release and press. Every time I work out, I think, why didn't I remember to feed my little princess cat? I don't know if you saw her in the video, but I always forget to feed her before I work out and she's not having it. So pressing into the straps, gliding your blades. This is really surprisingly hard, even with your feet on the foot bar. If it's too much, you can go down to 1.5 springs. I find that using 2 springs, as I'm doing, you get a great workout. We'll do 3 more. So you're gliding your blades each time, and you're pressing with the upper arm. This is really key in all of our arm work on the Reformer. We'll do 2 more of these. Gliding your blades, using the upper arm to push. So next, we'll be doing the hundreds. So remember what I said, put the straps down if you have a neck problem and just place your hands behind your head to curl up. Hundreds, knees toward the chest, push into the straps, curl up your head and shoulders, making sure that you're a little bit forward of the shoulder rest. Squeeze your legs together in a safe tabletop. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep on curling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, keep on reaching. Inhale, reach those fingertips. The more you curve, the more you sink your back ribs into the mat, you will feel this very intensely. Inhale, 2, 3, keep curving. It's as though you never are reaching far enough and you keep trying to reach further. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time. Bring the arms up with control. And then bring the arms overhead. So feet and straps, you have your feet in the straps. But in our intro to Reformer, I want you to feel the abdominal work that's necessary when you're doing a good set of feet and straps. So we're going to do 3 of the feet and strap series. There's about 5 or 6, I think, usually. And we're going to have our hands behind our head, curled up, and just do the leg portion. So place your hands here to start, right behind your thighs, and then curl up your head and shoulders. Let your back rib cage sink and curl up. Place your hands behind your head. Bring your legs up into a frog position. So that's knees apart, heels together, and toes apart. Squeeze your heels, curve up as you reach away and lengthen through your toes. As you bend, reach your heels away from you. Point, keep curved up, and flex. Every single time you're scooping your abdominals as hard as you can away from your t-shirt. Pull those abs in. Try to keep your back ribs sinking like a hammock in the carriage. Keep hollowing your abdominals. Pulling your abs in as hard as you can. 5 more, flexing, reach those heels, pointing. 2 more. And 1. Whew, so that was froggies. And when done correctly, you will feel tremendous intensity in the front of your abs. If you didn't feel it today, please be patient with yourself. If your back felt any strain, it means your legs have to be higher. Next, we'll be doing parallel, bend and straighten. Curl up your head and shoulders. Use your hands to curve up a little bit more. Sink your back ribs into the mat, just like they're in a hammock. Place your hands behind your head. Bring your knees up. Curve up as though you're trying to touch your chest to your thighs, and then keep your chest to your thighs as you reach away. Bend, flex your feet, try to curve up, and point. Bend and point. You want to keep your back ribs hammocked into the carriage and also hollow your abdominals as deeply as you can. Hollowing your abdominals away from your t-shirt. These are super tough. So just focusing on those 2 things, hollowing your abdominals and also hammocking your back ribs into the carriage. 3, 2, and 1. Whew, that mind-body connection of pulling the abdominals in, let's sway the knees, pulling those abs in and letting the ribs hammock down really works our abdominals. The last set we'll do is leg circles. So leg circles are going to be very tiny without the feet and the straps because the feet and the straps help support us as we do the circles. So please keep your legs in a tiny little circle like a saucer plate. Hands behind your thighs, curve up and pull. Back ribs sink like a hammock. Pull your abs in and up. Reach your legs. You can keep them slightly bent, or for advanced, reach those toes to the sky. Circle toward you, open and around. Draw a circle with your toes on the ceiling. Keep your toes reaching for the sky, scooping those abs. 5 more. 4, 3, 2 more, and 1. Let's rest before we do the other direction and just breathing. I find that there's a real temptation to make the circles too big, but it's harder if you keep your toes drawing onto the ceiling. And if you have tight hamstrings, feel free to bend your knees as much as you need to. Okay, so find your center. We'll do our last set of this third series, reversing the leg circles. Hands behind your thighs, curling up, hands behind your head. Bring your legs up, scoop those abs in, open and around. Keep pulling your abdominals in and up. I just realized I was going the same direction. Okay, so I'm going to do it the opposite direction here. Now we'll do that third series again with a reverse direction for leg circles. Curl up your head and shoulders, hammock the ribs, scoop your abs. Bring your legs up and we'll reverse the direction. Squeeze your legs away, open up and around, drawing a circle on the ceiling. Keep curving up, ribs heavy. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. And that just shows, let's do a knee stretch for rotation as I talk. That just shows that when you really focus on the mind-body connection, it is so powerful, and this is why people love Pilates so much. We'll do the other direction. Next, supine arms. We keep the same springs, 2 reds. Of course, you can lower it if needed. The first step in supine arms, we're going to be in a tabletop. So our first step is to find what I call safe tabletop. So we always think of tabletop as knees over hips, feet in line with the knees. But for many people, that puts strain on the lower back. If you have a small waistline, if you have a curvy butt, for many, many reasons, tight hip flexors, maybe you carry a lot of weight here in your abdominals. There's so many reasons that that could cause you strain. So you're going to go through with me several ways to do tabletop. And then when I say safe tabletop, you'll know to choose one of these tabletop options. We'll first try right angles, and remember your head is down. Then just try flopping your feet down, just flopping them towards the glutes. That's one option for you. The other option is turning your legs out in a V. You can do this with your feet level to the knees, or you can flop down. So just to review, tabletop in those right angles that we're always taught, flopping down with the feet towards the butt, or V feet with a turn out, feet level to the knees, or flopping down. So those are some options for you for safe tabletop. And for today, because it's an intro to reformer class, we're just going to do the triceps. Pick up your straps. We're going to bring the knees into a safe tabletop. I'm choosing a regular tabletop with the knees fairly close to my chest. Please choose the one that's right for you. Hover your elbows. Squeeze your triceps, press down, and bend. Press, bend. 2 more in this position with the elbows hovering. We'll do the next 5 reps with the elbows down on the carriage. Squeeze. 4, 3, work in the back of your upper arms. 2, 1. Breathe for a moment. So there are 2 options for your tricep presses, either hovering your elbows off the mat or pressing your elbows into the mat. We'll be doing 1 more set of 10. Please choose either hovering or elbows on the carriage, whichever position you prefer for today. I'm going to choose hovering. We'll do 10. 1, squeeze those triceps. 1 more. Whew. Place the straps down. So that's our lying down on our back series. It's called in Pilates supine, one of the many Pilates words that we have that you've probably never heard of. So the supine series, footwork, hundreds, feet and straps, supine arms. And if you are just starting with reformer, I would suggest maybe just doing this section over and over until you really get it. I did put bridging in there so that you could get a really good glute workout. So think about it. The footwork is working full body. Those light springs to start really work your core. The hundreds is breath work and abs. Bridging, total back chain work, fantastic for your body. And then we've got feet and straps, which without the straps is massive abdominals, right? And then supine arms, we did triceps.